Hi, this is Amber. Thank you for joining me for another video. This one for installing and configuring Microsoft Windows Server 2012 R2. This is in Chapter 4, Activity 4-1, configuring a new disk. So we'll just go ahead and just take a look at some of these settings. I've actually completed the activity, so we may not be able to do some of the steps, but I'll at least show you what it's going to look like. So I've already logged on to Server 1 and logged in as an administrator. Those are going to be your first steps. We're going to go into the Server Manager. We're going to click on our File and Storage Services. And then we'll just let that load, and then we'll go ahead and we'll go look at the disks. And depending on how fast your computer is, I'm using a Mac with VMware, tends to be a little slower. You'll be able to see here that we've got multiple disks listed here. Currently we've got 2 actually listed. So right here, you would actually typically see whatever disk you had already added into the virtual machine up here. You'll see the status will show offline. You would then right click on it and select bring online. As you can see, I can take this one offline, I can reset the disk, add a new volume. This can be done here. I'm not going to add another because I don't want to take up more space than I need to on my computer to allocate it to the VMware. You can also right click on that disk once it's done, and you can click initialize, and you'll get a message box and a progress window that'll display. In the partitions column, the disk will be labeled as a GPT because the file and the storage services creates the GPT disks instead of an MBR disk by default. If you need to make it an MBR disk, then you'd have to use the disk management. You also can create a new volume by right-clicking. You'll see here I have the option to do the new volume. We'll just go ahead and just take a look at those settings. And you see this will give you the new volume wizard that you can walk through. I mean, it gives you step-by-step instructions. You can hit, this is the before you begin, because you want to make sure you take a look at that, and then you can go through and you see here which server, the amount of space that's already there. This will take you into how much, what do you actually want to put in there. You can do megabytes as well, gigabytes, or even terabytes if you'd like to. And then from there, you would hit next. It's going to ask you for the letter that you want to label it as, and the file system type that you want to use. Typically, the NTFS, that's going to be the way that you want to go. And then you can also select to make it the unit size default. You can change it. And then this is your confirmation. It's going to show what you label it as before you actually select create, which I'm not going to do at this time. And so that will basically give you another volume that you will see here in this same spot. And that concludes looking at configuring a new disk. I hope you enjoyed.